Oh, I'll just take my new glasses off. Do they make me look intelligent, Paul?
No.
Good. Thank you for that, Paul.
They make you look sexy.
Oh, sexy. They're a bit stiff, I tell ya. I guess they'll loosen up with use.
Yeah, things that are stiff often...
Oh, Paul, don't be rude.
Loosen
Don't
up
be
with
rude.
age and use.
I'll put them over there. Don't sit on them. They're brand new.
Oh, they're lovely blue.
I know they're lovely blue.
Oh, look, they're a lovely blue.
They're lovely blue.
Oh, they
Blue
are
suits
nice.
me. Look. Welcome. Welcome, bloody welcome. Thank you for tuning in this week. We're a bit layered up because it's a bit chilly this morning, I tell ya.
It is. Yeah.
Welcome to life in Victorian England. That's how it feels at the moment.
I don't think it's... It's amazing to think that this house is Victorian.
Yeah, we've said that before.
I know, but it is, you know.
It's very,
so
very
actually,
old.
the house is quite used to Victorian England. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The ghosts of the Victorian past are walking amongst us, Paul.
Yeah. People in big dresses.
Yeah.
Generally women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to say people.
No, I don't think there were many lady boys in those days, and there certainly wasn't the gender issues that we have now.
No.
People conformed to the norm.
Yeah.
In those days, if you didn't, you were a real outcast.
Yeah, and most probably put into
The asylum.
The
asylum.
Yeah.
So welcome, bloody welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to another week of Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat!
Oh, Jesus, Mary, Mother of God. Anyway, welcome to supporters all across the board.
What board?
The board. Across the board.
What
I
does
don't know
that
what I
actually mean? What does across the board mean?
Welcome to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Coffee, Facebook, and Planet Vegetaria. That's a Facebook group. Origin Paul since 2017. That's contractual. Thank you. And news for our coffee supporters this week. We will be starting an exclusive weekly vlog, which will happen on one or two occasions midweek evenings, and it's going to be called Tales from the Snug, exclusively on YouTube, only for coffee supporters.
Yes.
That's right. We're starting that this week. We're looking forward to it because
Yeah.
our snug has become a bit of a womb.
It has a bit, yeah.
It's womb-like.
Yeah.
It's comforting, cosy, and lovely.
It's also really interesting seeing how quickly it's getting dark now.
Oh, yeah, but more on that later. So, Paul. What is happening with the weather this week? First of all, we just want to say stay safe as much as you can do in a hurricane to all of our friends across the pond who are being subjected to Hurricane Ian. What a boring name. Ian.
Yeah, not a boring hurricane though.
Well, I'm sorry to all the Ians out there. I don't mean to say that Ian's a boring name. Or backtrack, dig yourself a hole. This old man came rolling home. Yeah, I didn't mean that because I know quite a few Ians and you're all lovely. But why not Hurricane Igor? Oh, the washing machine's finished. It's playing its tune.
It is playing its tune.
I've learned that tune now. I know it off by heart.
He has.
It's
yeah.
comforting. Again, comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort. Take comfort in your washing machine.
Singing to you.
Yes.
It's finished now.
Yeah.
Well, I think Igor will be,
Just
has been, you know, because
interesting.
But they're trying to make them not be so scary and threatening.
Well, they are scary and threatening things,
Well,
life-threatening things. So make them more dramatic. That's
maybe,
what I say.
Maybe.
I mean, Hurricane Eileen. Again, no offence to any Eileens out there.
You're really going through it today, aren't
Shit
you?
a brick, yes. Just dig that hole and get in there. Oh, I'm sorry.
We never really get up to Hurricane Paul.
No, and Richard. Hurricane Richard and Paul.
Well, if we don't get up to Hurricane Paul, we're not going to get up to Hurricane Richard, are we?
No, and people have asked why I put myself first.
Where?
Richard and Paul.
Oh, it works better that way. Yeah.
Well, it's because it was my channel to begin with, Paul. You're the one that hijacked it.
You were the one that asked me to hijack
Yeah, I did,
it.
because I thought people might find you interesting how wrong I was.
Completely.
So yes, we are due to get the tail end of Hurricane Ian.
Yeah. In about 4 days, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's on the way. I think it's travelling at hundreds of miles an hour across the Atlantic Ocean because the jet stream is quite strong and fast at the moment.
Right.
So it's scooping up all those weather systems and flinging them mercilessly at the UK. Well, frankly, the UK deserves it. Frankly, the state it's in at the moment, but let's not get political.
No. So, yes, it has been cold. I mean, not cold, but when you've had that warmth, and particularly when you have the warmth in the daytime that we're having at the moment in the sun. You know, those nights really do feel cold. I think we got down to 4 degrees, 5 degrees a couple of nights ago. It's getting a little bit warmer. I think it's going to be sort of 7, 8 degrees. But then looking at the back end of October, because of course we're now in October, or will be when this is out, right at the back end it goes down to about 3 degrees, 2 degrees. So keep an eye on that. And we are due today, or had been due from early morning, lots of rain.
But it's not arrived. Why, Paul?
Because it's coming at 3 o'clock. It got delayed. So apparently this afternoon it is going to be bucketing down. It'll be interesting to see if that actually happens.
Well, I think it's good because we are still under drought conditions.
We are.
That's drought. D-R-O-U-G-H-T.
Are you going to start spelling things now? Didn't we know somebody? No, there was somebody on TV that spelled, didn't they? They would say a sentence and they spell a word in that sentence.
No, it's just I've seen drought spelt so many strange ways.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a long, dry spell.
But a drought isn't a draft.
No, it's not a draft.
No, which is spelt D-R-A-U-G-H-T or D-R-A-F-T.
Yeah. English language. Yeah.
Interesting.
Confusing. Bow and bow. Those are ones that people know well.
Well, a bough of a tree is B-O-U-G-H.
Mm-hmm.
Take a bow is B-O-W.
Absolutely.
But or bowing and scraping.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that recently.
Yeah.
With all this royal shizzle going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's all over and done with.
Yeah, but Theresa May, she does that curtsy.
Oh, give her a good curtsy. She's got good legs and she can curtsy well.
She looks like an overfed sparrow, Paul.
Yeah, but she's got good legs and she can curtsy
well. Good legs? You call those good legs?
I think she's got good legs.
Have you seen my legs?
I have seen your legs.
Those are good legs.
He's got Bruce Almighty legs.
I don't know why you say that, Paul.
Because the poster of Bruce Almighty has got the legs on the front and your legs are like Bruce Almighty's legs. That's why. They're very sexy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, for goodness sake. So we've been waking up in the morning with steamy windows, haven't we?
We have,
Every morning.
Yeah,
having
literally.
to open the windows to let the condensation out. That's the quickest way of doing it, you know. Open the windows and it will be clear very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as long as it's not raining, it's good to air the house. So, you know, not for too long though.
No.
Not at the moment.
No.
There's a leaf that's hanging on that window.
Of a spider's web.
On the spider's web.
I'm going to be. I know it's annoying me actually.
It's quite easy to annoy you.
Yes, it is very easy to annoy me at the moment. I find a lot of things annoying.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to have a fridge magnet. It said, "Don't annoy her. She's nasty."
That's true. Have you still got it?
I don't know where it is.
Oh, there we are.
Maybe I annoyed it.
maybe decided to fall off.
Maybe it annoyed
Got
me and I
swept
threw it away. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So, to me, at the moment, the prospect of winter is not particularly appealing, I have to say.
No, and you
Because-
always love the winter months.
Yeah, and I always enjoy the cold, but that's because we've lived in times when we were able to afford to put the heating on all day, whereas now we can't. So, it's potentially going to be rather miserable. And I do feel as though we're stepping back in time, because one gets up in the morning, gets out of the warm bed, and goes into one's dressing room and has to put clothes on for the interim period before getting ready for work. So one has to get dressed for breakfast.
Well,
One
I
has
think.
to eat one's warming porridge
Oh yes, he's been making porridge this week.
in
I've
the
enjoyed
microwave,
it.
in the
Yeah.
microwave,
Yeah. Yeah.
and which is the most economical way of doing it. And then having one's breakfast, warming up, and then having to change
Into your work clothes.
after having one's wash.
What do you
and
call it?
then
A strip wash.
A strip wash. Yes. I told you what happened to the opticians, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah.
I went to the opticians and we were having a chat, and we were talking about lockdown, and we were talking about things like having one shower a week. And she said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I have a strip wash, bits and bits. And she said, no, I mean, what do you do as a job? And I said, oh, I was unnecessarily intimate there. I do apologise.
Oh, I think that's
We
so funny.
laughed.
I'm sure you laughed.
laughed, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's how one should get on with people in a shop. Have a laugh.
She
Have a
most probably
joke.
made a note on your
This
on your
one's
thing.
a-
Too personal.
This one's a
something like
weirdo.
that. Yeah.
Watch out.
Most probably. Yeah.
Anywho, so Paul, you wanted to talk about writing, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
And I had feedback from the guy, Alistair, who ran the workshop that I went to a few weeks ago. And it was a feedback on the piece that I had written. And it was really, I thought there was going to be lots of, maybe you could have used this word, maybe this sentence structure wasn't, quite right, you could have done this, and it was just glowing. It came back and it was just, and he said you just need to write, basically. And it was really quite, I was really chuffed when I received it. I felt quite...
Pride?
Yeah, and uplifted by what he said.
I think it's very good, and I think you should do what he says and devote some time each week to writing.
Which I am doing.
Good.
I am doing.
You never show it to me.
Well,
Is that because you're afraid that I'll be unnecessarily critical of your work?
No, I just don't show it to you. I think it's sort of my work at the moment, and I sort of do it. Yeah.
Good.
Do you want me to show it to you?
Well, it would be nice
But
occasionally to be included
You see them when they're
on that
in
side of your life.
the Guernsey Press or whatever when
I
they
do
write things.
see them.
So there we are. And also, I had been thinking about writing on coffee a little segment, maybe once, twice a month, about what's happening at the allotment, things that one can do to sort of, tidy up, and around the specific time, obviously, of when the article is going to come out. And I decided that I'm going to do that. So that, again, will be exclusively for coffee members. And then I got a call from our local resident association, literally just this morning, asking whether I would do a piece for them each month as well. So yeah, I'm doing that, which I'm quite pleased. That's sort of, it's a way of me doing some sort of good in the community without me going out and about and actually doing the work physically myself. I've got a frog in my throat this morning.
That's
Yeah.
very good, Paul.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. Give Paul a round of applause.
I always find it amusing when people applaud themselves. I like that. Yeah. It's sort of like adding volume to everything. Yeah. You know, you see it on TV, don't you? When, you know, they say, oh, give everyone a round of applause. And then,
So when is your next article for the Guernsey Press out, Paul?
that will have been out by the time you see this yesterday. So the 1st of October. It got delayed because of the Queen's death. So it should have been in a couple of weeks ago, but it was delayed because of that. So it is a September piece, but it tucks in just at the beginning of October, on the 1st of October. So once I have the link, I'll be sharing that as I normally do. And it's all about going into autumn. Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Hopefully we'll get out and about at some point into the autumn. But normally, well, I'm finding that last year was quite... It seemed to be on target, didn't it?
Yeah.
The year before was late.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how the changing colour, I can notice the tree out there, there's silver birch, that's changing. And there's golden, I love it when the golden leaves hit the pavement. They look like golden pennies.
They do, particularly if the sunlig's behind them, don't they? Because you can see
Lovely.
them as they
But
flutter
on the
down.
pavement, they're bright. They're very bright. I swept a few up the other day, and just so gorgeous. So, but that one is particularly early, that tree.
It
It
is.
always seems to go first. But there are plenty of trees that have been starting to go brown during the drought.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how trees that have access to good water, like out in the countryside, not in a car park or work, I wonder when they will start to go, because we've not been out and about for any walks recently.
No, well, certainly all of the boundary of the allotment, which of course is the boundary of a river as well, so they get plentiful water there.
They're still green, aren't they?
They're all still green,
Yeah,
and
noticed
have
that.
been, you know, throughout the drought period. But I'm noticing that some of the apple trees are really beginning to turn at the allotment now.
Yeah.
And the silver birch here, it has some brown leaves on it, which are actually because of the drought. So it's got maybe 3 or 4 branches on it, relatively small ones, that have died.
Yeah,
And that was solely because of the drought. It needs a little bit of tree work just to tidy it up.
Yeah, but despite the cold, we have been enjoying a few fires of an evening. And in terms of cost, we've sort of worked out that, I don't know, it's actually thinking about it, because I don't use a whole coal scuttle.
No.
I use a few coals, quite frugal with them. Worked out that it's between £2, £2.50 for about 5 or 6 hours worth of good fire.
So that's an evening in here, basically.
That's an evening in here. Plus, it takes a while to die down, so it's still providing heat, and the room is still sort of, it takes the chill off the room, even in the morning.
And it certainly takes the chill off the bedroom, because we don't have the heating on in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And when we go to bed at night, there's no sort of background chill to the bedroom.
Yeah, it just takes the chill off the chimney stack, the chimney breast.
Mm.
So that's quite good. And we don't do it every night, but we have been enjoying that.
And of course, if we're going to do that, we make sure that
the heating
is off. We only have the heating on for about half an hour, but if we're having a fire, we don't have the heating on.
We're just heating the room that we're in. That's what we're doing. So that's working out okay. Obviously, we've not got to the stage where we've got freezing cold weather.
No. I mean, that's really sort of January, February, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be, I've got a feeling it's going to be a sharp winter. Sorry. Don't know why I'm like that.
Frog in your throat.
Frog in my throat, literally. I was weeding the beetroot at the plot yesterday, and 3 frogs jumped out from under the leaves of the beetroot.
Oh.
So maybe a 4th jumped out and I didn't notice. Maybe.
So So yeah, I mean, that's us at the moment, just trying our best to navigate through these new waters of expensive fuel.
Well, I think it's what everyone's
I mean,
doing.
it is the forefront of my mind most days, thinking about how the politics is in this country in relation to finance and money.
Yeah.
Because it is in the news, I like to take an active interest in what is happening in the news without being too overwhelmed by it. One has to have a break from these kind of things. But yeah, I mean, and also trying to react positively without bending to this thing which has been imposed upon us by external forces, regardless of the fact that we like to try and be as energy efficient as possible anyway. Just trying to be positive about it. And I don't like this thing of, we were there in the 70s and we knew what it was like, blah, blah, blah. I don't like all of that, because it isn't the 70s. We live in a modern society in a rich country. It shouldn't be this way. We should be able to put our heating on and be comfortable in our homes in 2022. But that's not possible. So we have to try and make it as comfortable as possible for ourselves.
Which is why you did the snug as well.
Well, yeah, it is.
About that. So,
at the end of the day, it isn't terribly comfortable having to wear 4 layers all the time.
I think I've lost 2 stone at the wrong time, actually. Because I must admit, I'm feeling the cold more than I would normally have done.
We're not eating as much as well, so we're being very sensible with our eating.
Yeah.
So that's bound to have an effect, because you do need to refuel and fuel up in the right way in winter. So we're just having to be careful.
I mean, we're having plenty to eat, and I'm really enjoying soups at the moment.
Yeah.
Really enjoying soups, mainly homemade, of course.
Yeah.
And mainly carrot and lentil, or a sort of carrot, courgette and lentil.
But we're just being sensible with our portions. We're still not having bread. We're only having it as a treat.
We had some at the weekend.
We had a house guest at the weekend, so we had that as a treat. But it's also considering things like, we wouldn't put the oven on now for too long.
Well, last night I said because I won't harp on about it, but prices for electricity go up again yesterday on the 1st of October. And I said to Richard, what I'm going to do is we're going to have those Linda McCartney country pies.
Country pies.
We're going to have country pies now while the electricity is a bit cheaper. And what I also decided to do is the vegetarian sausages that we get from Morrison's, I decided to cook a load of those so that they're all cooked through and a bit brown, which I like, and then I've frozen them again. So when we come to have sausages, maybe with a stew or something.
Sausage casserole.
Yeah, sausage casserole.
Didn't
something
I do
like
a
that.
sausage casserole?
You did, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's a video.
When we come to have a sausage casserole, I can
just bung them in.
Just bung them in, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can do that anyway, because they will cook in a casserole. But I like that sort of, as my mum used to say, rusty outside of it, a bit browned. I like that. And I think it also adds good colour to a stew.
Good idea. Yeah, they can look a bit insipid, vegetarian sausages. Put in straight into a stew and not browned first.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea, as long as they're reheated properly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, defrozen and reheated, obviously. Yeah.
Defrosted, even.
Yeah. What did I say?
Defrozen.
Defrosted, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, because we're far too long already. People will be complaining, Paul.
Oh, they'll be going, I can't watch anymore.
You're all right. So let's move on to our entertainment this week.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I say entertainment because I've realised that it's not just TV that we get our entertainment from. It's also things like YouTube. And I wanted to mention a couple of channels and also general YouTube stuff that I've been watching this week.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with television. We've been watching Professor T. There's
Yes.
a new series.
We enjoy it. I like the stories. I'm not so keen on the actor, but I do like the stories.
What's his name, the actor?
I can't remember.
Oh, gosh.
Him.
It's
It does
on-
have Frances de la Tour in it.
Who we
and
love.
Of course, as soon as she's on screen, the screen lights up, you know. It's a bit too unrealistic, I think, but it's quite cosy.
It's about a professor who's a bit obsessive, who helps the police with murder investigations. We watched the first series last year.
Yeah.
And this is the second series. And yeah, it fills an hour, or however long it is. But what we have started watching and binge watched a little bit, we're a little late to the party with this one, The Mandalorian, Star Wars, The Mandalorian.
Which is on Disney.
Which we got a free 3-month trial.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you very much, Samsung.
So we've had a little free trial of it. Yeah, there's quite a lot on offer. Of course, you've got all the Star Wars stuff.
I mean, there's loads of things on offer, but you go through it and it's sort of like, yeah, maybe.
Maybe we could cram in over winter a few of those. You've got all the Alien films. You've got
Predator.
You've got a good selection of stuff.
But apart from the new Star Wars ones, they were mainly things we've seen before.
Yeah. But I guess you could, eke out stuff. That's the thing, isn't it? Finding stuff, going through the menus. Frankly, it's a bit tiresome. But anyway, The Mandalorian. So this is the story of the Mandalorian bounty hunter who basically goes on jobs capturing and killing people. It's very violent.
No, he does take them hot
or cold. Exactly. So, yeah. It's very Star Wars. It's very Star Wars.
Well, that's good because it's Star Wars.
And it's very familiar. So there's lots of familiar stuff. There's things you're in the Star Wars universe. It's written very cleverly, so it kind of provides you with stuff that you're waiting for. For example, they hadn't mentioned Jedis, and I thought to myself, they've not mentioned Jedis. They mentioned Jedis. They know that point that the Star Wars fans are getting to, waiting to see whether they mention Jedis, waiting to see whether a lightsaber is used. I was thinking, we've not seen a lightsaber. Shoom, out comes a lightsaber. So it's very cleverly put together, it's cleverly produced to satisfy you. And also the storylines are satisfying, they're conclusive. And
apart
of
from
course,
the 4th episode.
You've got Paul's favourite character in there, the Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't need to be satisfied by Baby Yoda because I've got a Baby Yoda of my own. I think it looks a little bit like you, Paul.
I haven't got the ears for it.
Oh, you have. Who told you hadn't?
I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
There was one episode, the 4th episode in the first series, and it was sort of like, it was like a placement episode. It was like, these people that we're introducing here are going to be part of the story in the future. And it was sort of like, it was a bit, bit.
Anyway.
The others I've really liked, and there's quite a few characters. My favourite character, other than Yoda, got killed. I won't say who it was if you haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert, but we're very late to the party with The Mandalorian.
We are.
It's been out for quite a while.
I think there's 2 series and there's going to be a 3rd series, I think.
Haven't we started the second
We
season?
just started the second season,
So, Alexa, please stop. Thank you.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, visually it's superb. And the thing about Star Wars is that the ships and the effects always look very real. They've now managed to really sort that out. You believe that the ship is taking off.
Yeah.
You believe that the ship is landing. You feel the weight of the ship.
The whole CGI is incredible.
It's a dirty universe as well. It's not a sort of clean, sanitized sci-fi universe. Not like, say, Logan's Run.
Yeah.
All clean and shiny. It's a dirty place. Things need to be fixed. There's rusty bolts and panels falling off, and and also the way that the stories are structured. They really put this character, the Mandalorian, through quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He has to deal with his ship falling through the ice at one point, getting smashed to bits, manages to fix it, blah, blah, blah. So there's trials. He's going through these trials.
It's called storytelling.
No, but archetypal storytelling very often puts its hero through a trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through a set of trials.
Yeah.
It's absorbing and entertaining.
Yeah.
If you like sci-fi. We continue with Schitt's Creek.
Just love it.
So no need to talk about that because we've talked about that to the nth degree.
I do have my favourite episodes though. I absolutely, there's some which are just so heartwarming. They're really,
I just wanted to mention a couple of YouTube things that I've been watching recently. Members on Planet Vegetaria will be familiar with a couple of channels. The Kingstone 8, which is run by Sharon. I'll put a link in if you'd like to subscribe. And also Terry Bennett as well, who does the most amazing astrophotography videos, which I love.
Absolutely.
I love watching them. I really, both of the channels I adore watching because I find them so relaxing, so grounding, and I'm able to just fall into them. Both of Sharon's and Terry's videos for me are filled with lovely energy.
And calm.
There's just a lovely energy around those channels. So I'll put the links in below. I don't know whether I can do links up here to channels. I maybe can. I'll try both. So go and check them out and subscribe because they're well worth a visit. The other thing I've been looking at on YouTube is interviews with Kenneth Williams.
Yes, I heard you listening to some.
Very entertaining, and especially the ones that Michael Parkinson did in the 70s. So that's a good YouTube search to do, Kenneth Williams, Parkinson, if you need a bit of entertainment. He was a genius.
Yeah.
He was an excellent performer, serious actor as well as a comedy actor, writer.
His biographies are amazing.
He did lots of plays as well, serious plays around the country, West End as well. So, just really interesting guy, marvellous at being interviewed by certain people.
I think we don't really have the sort of Michael Parkinson interviewers now.
No.
And I think it's a great shame. You really felt as though you got to know the person.
He was able to put them at ease.
All the sort of Graham Norton and all
Russell
that.
Harty was good as well.
Russell Harty was that sort of crossover, wasn't he? Where he was really serious, but there was always that sort of slightly cheeky, tongue-in-cheek, comedic edge. But the ones that are now, it's all sort of played for laughs, sort of mainly, and I don't always get that. Yeah.
Anywho, that's it for this week's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat!
So remember, coffee supporters, look out for your new season, your new series of Tales from the Snug. Only for coffee supporters here on YouTube. You'll get the link posted on the coffee page. So take advantage of that exclusive content just for you. So that's it. I think it's time for a hot drink.
Yes,
or some
definitely.
hot soup.
Oh, maybe some soup.
I think it's time for lunch.
Time for lunch.
I'm
Time
ready
for
to
lunch.
refuel.
Time for lunch.
So thank you, as ever, for tuning in and joining us here on the sofa in our lovely Victorian living room.
I can feel a draft on my leg now. Have you got any windows open upstairs?
No,
Right.
no. It's windy though.
It is windy.
It's coming
yeah.
through the floorboards.
Yeah.
It's fresh, healthy.
It is fresh and
Let's have
healthy.
soup.
Yeah.
Move along. Nothing to see here now. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bienvenue, willkommen, au revoir. All of those are the words that I don't know.
Maybe you could learn some Japanese and Chinese as well.
No.
Bye.
Bye.